that one. We'll talk more about that one when we get into the second endurance race. Now, the Renault has a penalty, Jimmy, and I think you've just spotted something there.
Yeah, I've just noticed on screen that while the Mercedes did get away initially, the Nissan is now reeling it back in. So the fight for the lead still underway. Of course, there is a bit of a gap between Nissan and this fight you're seeing. Now, you can just actually see Nissan in the last little Subaru. Very, very sideways to this bit. No, just back up there. Loses a lot of time there. Just keeps it going, just. But he's going to get a penalty for that, I imagine. Saying that, speaking of penalties, here is a Renault on the inside. McLaren giving a little bit of breathing room, but that Renault is relentless, still going.
Well, Kimmo Kaisler, you were talking about, do they have the fastest drivers in the car? In the Nissan, they effectively do, because Kaisler is out in the car. He is driver number 1 and first pit stop.
First pit stop in now, so will this be a tyre change? Let's see. The mechanic, yes, tyre change. There'll be no fuel added, there'll be a driver change now. We're seeing up, you guys can't see this on the screen right now, but the guys are switching over in the rigs. That's AMG, and this is our leader. Waiting for that. There's a little bit of fuel going in, it seems. I wonder why they're putting fuel in this. I assume they were starting with... Oh no, sorry, there is actually a fuel limit in this race, so the cars are being refueled. My mistake, out they go. Mercedes back out now in 8th place, but there are cars still going around, so maybe trying to stretch the fuel a bit.
Who else did we have coming in? The Renault came in as well and still has a penalty, so they now have Tarek Bushman, who is their quickest driver in the car. The Mercedes has Sander Dirksen now in the car, so they're saving Patrick Blazan until last. I don't know, did we have anyone else come in there? I didn't see anyone else come in.
Well, we have our pit stops down the left, guys. You can see this on your graphic at home. Anyone with a 1 under the P column there has made a stop. So at the moment, the Nissan is actually leading on track because of that.
So also coming in, then we had the McLaren has come in as well to hand over to Just de Haas. The Toyota has handed over to Patrick Vecking. The BMW has handed over to Matt Thomas, the British driver, and the Audi has handed over to its quickest qualifier, which is Angelo Scoot. So lots of teams having made pit stops, 3 of which have stayed out. Do we think there'll be a next lap?
Yes, I think so. I don't think you can really hold it much longer than that. The tyres will be done, the fuel will be done at this point. So back here, I want to just say we have a very small lapse in time here. If you are enjoying the stream there at home, make sure to show your support. Hit the like button on the YouTube stream. Maybe tweet it out to your friends, and just to get everyone in here. This is, I mean, how can you deny this being exciting and fantastic racing?
It is fantastic stuff, to say the least. As he heading down towards the Parabolica, we have the Renault. Subaru comes into the pits, so that's the Subaru now in. So Ed Williams will hand over to Manuel Rodriguez. So qualifier out first, the Spaniard. However, Manuel Rodriguez, how quick was he yesterday?
Rodriguez was a little bit unfortunate yesterday, actually. He had a really good run, spun it on the second to last lap, and unfortunately lost out in qualifying for the Nations Cup. But however, very fastest car on track until then, so let's see what he can do.
Right, the Mercedes is under pressure here from the Renault. The Renault is doing a fantastic job. Both of these cars have pitted, to remind you. The Mercedes was once in the race lead. Now, well, Renault, is this a fight for the lead between the Mercedes and the Renault?
Yeah, at this point, they've all made the stop, so this is now your positions as they stand. There's no pits to come in now, so Nissan leading, so had a great stop there. Mercedes is the car that lost out, of course, now 4 seconds behind the Nissan, nearly 5 seconds. But that Renault, who started in last position, is now up into 3rd on track, and that is a proper 3rd position. That's not a pit stop owing third.
And talk us through the pit stops, of course. People may have had a bit of a slower pit stop than another team. Tell us a little bit about that.
Of course, now, as in real life motorsport, we do have the virtual pit crews in there. They aren't always competent each other. Sometimes there are mistakes made, so there are variances built in there. There has been a pit stop penalty given to the Porsche after an investigation earlier on. I think that was a investigation with contact with another car. We'll have to get that information on our screen when we can. But a pit stop penalty, which is a lot worse than just slowing down, which has come to the pit stop, stop for a second, and back out again. Here at Monza, with such a high-speed main straight, that's going to cost them a lot of time. I can hear the German commentator flexing me sigh a little bit.
Well, Michael Kasika is going to be devastated, as he had just jumped in that car. Everyone now out, as we said, on track. So in the Nissan, who is out in the lead, we now have Marcus Connonet. Right, here we have the Toyota looking up the inside of the McLaren into the Parabolica, and that is a very, very nice move, but the McLaren doesn't want to give in. He's going to try and go around the outside, and who will emerge in the lead of this battle? Toyota for now.
Well, it's going to be a straight line speed fight here. Who has the most horses? It's looking like it might be the McLaren at this point, trying to get into each other's side draft. We're going back to the battle for second place. The Renault goes past the AMG there, going to the first chicane. Back now to the McLaren and Toyota. Can the McLaren get it done? Yes, round the outside defensive position from Toyota. Toyota, they're a bit of a loser. These guys started pole, but down into fifth now.
Yeah, what is going on with the Toyota? Patrick Becking out in the car, and the Porsche has indeed served its penalty, so it's down on 2 pit stops. Well, can they run to the end then?
Not at this point, no. There needs to be one more stop at this point. The Porsche team would have done a penalty stop. They can't do any tyres, any fuel then, so they're going to be the team with 3 stops at the end as opposed to everybody else with 2.
Fantastic stuff to know, so very insightful, very helpful. Thanks to everyone tuning in. Myself, Chris McCarthy, Jimmy Broadbent, bringing you the live coverage here from the Big Boulevard Arena at the Nürburgring circuit. Nürburgring 24-hour race taking place this weekend. But we are in the Ring Boulevard hosting the first event of the Gran Turismo World Tour. 30 of Europe's best GT Sport players here with us to compete. This a pre-season event for the FIA Championship, where details will be released on the 1st of June. Right, I think this is not over between the Renault and the Mercedes. Is looking to the outside as we go down towards Parabolica. Oh, and what a move! Well, the Mercedes, that was a fantastic move all the way around the outside of the Renault. Why are they not working together, Jimmy? It's very frustrating to see. The Nissan has got this one in the bag now.
It may be at this point they're just sort of discovering each other. Of course, bear in mind that there are different drivers getting into the car every 10 minutes or so. So that sort of respect, or that sort of communication takes a while to build up. Mercedes going defensive here. The Renault looking, just taking its line at this point, not really looking to fight the Mercedes. Maybe the Renault is trying to work with the Mercedes, but the AMG isn't having any of it at this point. But out there, Renault a little bit slow off the Apex. And of course, as you said that, Nissan now 5 seconds off into the dust it's gone.
I think one other thing worth mentioning, of course, we've had 10 drivers go through to the Nations Cup final, which I cannot wait for. That's going to be tomorrow evening, which will be live streamed as well. But only 10 of the 30 drivers who are here have qualified for that. The rest, this is it. After the Nordschleife, the second race, the manufacturers, which will be up straight after this. That's the end of their weekend in terms of racing. So they want to give it full guts. This is their last chance to show themselves on the live stream, and indeed to the crowd here, and indeed to themselves.
Indeed, yes, and as you said, a lot of these guys going home maybe tonight, so that they want to really go out there and just give it all, just have a little bit of fun out there, of course, as well. We're just watching Mercedes getting a little bit loose coming out of second Lesmo, a little bit of tyre wear coming again. Of course, these tyres do about 10 minutes or so, we have to change them, so we're getting into the end of that now, nearly anyway, only 3 minutes left on this stint, or thereabouts. But the Mercedes driver right now really pushing to try and take a gap away from the Renault, and he has actually pulled this one in by a couple of attempts there. Not much of a gap there being gained back, but it is something, and the Nissan driver will be able to see that.
Yeah, well, I've got to say, further back, the Subaru has just made a fantastic move on the Audi. So in the Subaru, out on track at the moment, we have Manuel Rodriguez, but the Audi is fighting back, and out in the car for them is Angelo Sweet. If you have any questions for Jimmy Broadbent, do send those in. He will answer some questions. Of course, he's here with myself to commentate on the action, but why not? We've got questions coming in, so if you want to ask us anything, do send them in, or just let us know if you're enjoying the feed and what you think of the racing. Good battle going on here though, still between the Mercedes and the Renault. That said, that Nissan is really extending a gap.
I'm a little bit confused there again. We had the same scenario as last lap. AMG went defensive, Renault just sort of took its line. Not really sure, maybe the AMG is just defending. I was saying that very heavy over the curve there, that might be a penalty. It was quite close to being that. Either that or we got it just right. Of course, these guys have been practicing pretty much all weekend to be here as well, so they know what's going on. Now the Ferrari still leading off the McLaren. The Ferrari probably one of the cars that was one of the cars that picked last during the draw earlier on. So to see it running in 5th position is pretty good. McLaren, to be.
Further back, the Subaru is off. The Audi and the Subaru have made a little bit of contact. It's the battle we're on board with the McLaren actually. Behind the McLaren we have the Subaru and the Audi having gone wheel to wheel once again. This time the Subaru having to emerge from off track. That's the Nissan we can see on screen now going down to Parabolica and is about to go on to lap number 11.
Yep, so we're getting very close now to the second pit stop, and this again when the race will check up again, then Nissan coming into the pits now, so it will be tyres and fuel on this car now goes again. Another driver change now, that trying to see who's sitting in there.
It's Tom McPherson.
Yes, McPherson in the car now, so one of the Brits and our guys, of course, and we definitely don't unbias the support. This will be his last stop then, so now the pressure is on him. He has now to get this car to the end. There is an advantage, of course. Let's see what the pit crew do, how fast they've done their job. Looks pretty slick to me. They're coming out the pits now. Ferrari, interestingly, has stayed out on this lap. The Ferrari maybe it's going to lose a bit of time here. You have to take into account the undercut, overcut sort of thing.
Mercedes is right with them. The Mercedes is right with them. Look how close the Mercedes is. Oh, we're going into turn 1, the work is off. The Mercedes has gone off. Well,
push too hard out the pits on cold tyres. You can't do that, of course, and as a result, cuts the chicane, does get a penalty. You can't really get away with that point. He did gain time no matter how you look at it, but he's already served that, so he's now 2 seconds behind on this hand, but that gap was 5 seconds. So the Mercedes guys, very good in the pits. It's a shame about that pit exit there.
And that is Patrick Blazan, one of the best drivers from yesterday. Patrick Blazan, who was helping me go round the north side. Oh, and the Subaru's spun! The Subaru's gone round from 4th place. What a shame.
Oh, it hit the Porsche, it hits the Porsche.
Shit, they've got into the Porsche! Oh dear, the Subaru. What's happened there, Jimmy? Trying to rejoin track.
He's just burning up his rear tyre. He hit the front spin turn and trying to get it around, but went straight into the path of the Porsche there. And I'll be very, very surprised if we don't see some sort of penalty for just reckless on track there. But bear in mind that the Subaru has not yet pitted. It's on old tyres. The tyre was shot at this point. So it's just really shot itself in the foot. It's down now in 8th position and it still owes a pit stop. Subaru at this point is looking to come last.
Well, the race has just been turned on its head here at Monza. Everything changing. We're going to have to wait for things to settle down just a little bit and reassess exactly what is going on, because the Ferrari is in to the pits, as you have just said. They will hand over to Adrian Mayor, the Spaniard, for the last stint. Now, let's try and get a bit. Well, it's only 1.1 seconds between the two leaders. Who's going to be in 3rd place? It's the Renault in 3rd place.
Again, the Renault starting in last position up into 3rd place. So the strength of the drivers.
A fantastic performance. Loris Garnier, the Frenchman, in that car now. So the French driver, but look at this, we're on board with the Mercedes, and the Mercedes with Patrick Blazan in the car is reeling in Tom McPherson. It looks like it's only going to be a matter of time now, despite that off. Has the Toyota picked up a penalty in 4th place as well?
I think it has done, but I wanted to throw it very quickly just to say that we've watched Patrick Blazan. Look at him over the curb, look at him patiently gaining on this hand in front. Blazan is known, we spoke to the other drivers earlier, Blazan is known for being top of the hot lap leaderboards. They were the words that were said by the other drivers. But you're seeing it in action now, look at every corner making up speed with McPherson. How well can he defend? He has to stay ahead for another 4 or 5 laps yet. And the thing is, the Mercedes has gained about 1.5 seconds on this lap alone and now has the slipstream.
Let's compare cars, because the Mercedes, is it going to have an advantage down the stretch with just taking past anyway? How hard is it going to be for Nissan to defend the Mercedes?
Well, both these cars are pretty close in terms of lap time, but Nissan going wide now on the exit of Ascari. That would have slowed him down a bit. In fact, it does. You see Blazan weaving just to stay into the slipstream of Nissan. Now coming down from Parabolica. probably not going to try something here, but he's going to try and set himself up for T1. Blajan, if anything, was a little bit impatient in yesterday's race. Let's see if he's a bit better around here. We've had a pit stop penalty coming from McLaren, 5 seconds there, but we'll keep the missed battles. And Mercedes looks to the outside. He's now right on the back of the Nissan, only a 10.5 minute. And here we go then.
And we have an incident under investigation, but we're going to have a change for lead, so we'll come back to that in just a second. As the Mercedes looks to the outside of the Nissan is going to try and keep it wide, and the Mercedes going wheel to wheel, having to use the curb, and in the end I think a textbook move to take the lead.
Very tight there on the outside, but he made it work. That is the showing there of a fantastic drive, but McPherson is not legit. He's now back into the slipstream of the Mercedes. Look at the straight line speed of the GTR there. Looks to the outside. Blajan comes defensive from the inside to the left, but if McPherson can keep it there, he'll be inside. Let's go round the outside. Wow, outbreak, but still there. Goes very wide now. Mercedes back to the inside with the first Lesmo back pass again. These guys are going at it hammer and tong.
Here we go. The Nissan had briefly retaken the lead and is just going to have to try and stay with the Mercedes on the run up to the Ascari. Oh no, but the Nissan's off the track. Oh well, McPherson has got it all wrong going into Lesmo 2. Jimmy, what's happened there?
Let's have another look at there. Just gets, he's too late on the brakes. He's trying a bit too hard. He knows who is racing. He's running to the gravel now, and I am going to say that is it. The Mercedes driver, Blajan, again known for his hot lapping ability, is probably going to be able to put away now from Nissan, but doesn't mean the fights are over on circuit. We now have the Renault pulling in a little bit to the back of Nissan. Only 3 seconds between them, but bear in mind behind them we both have Toyota and McLaren with penalties. McLaren has to actually make a pit stop here.
And Renault is closing in on Nissan here. Behind the wheel of the Renault we have Loris Garnier. So the Renault was the 9th car picked yesterday, can I just say. Just to give you an idea of the positions and what order they were picked in, the Mercedes was picked first. The Nissan, which is in second, was picked third. The Renault was picked 9th. Fantastic performance from the Renault. The Toyota was picked second. The McLaren was picked 7th, so again they're going very well. The Audi was picked last, so it wasn't even picked. And they're in 6th place. The Ferrari, who's had that spin, was picked 8th. The Porsche was picked 5th. Then we have the Subaru and the BMW. The Subaru picked 6th, the BMW picked 4th.
Mercedes round. Mercedes made a mistake. AMG made a mistake there. We didn't catch it on our screen, but they were around. I think they went off at the first corner. Blajan has thrown it away. Was it? Oh, it goes into T1. Gets it very wrong. No, on the exit. He gets from the throttle, has to spin turn it. He loses tons of time.
Oh no, but he's lost the lead and he's got to 3rd place. Oh no, he's gone very, very wrong for the Mercedes. He's in 4th place. I don't believe this. Well, this won't decide the Manufacturers' Cup. This will set the group for race 2. But the Mercedes has spun. They've thrown it away. The Nissan's taken the lead with the Renault closing in.
The German commentators looked at me there in utter disbelief, watching that guy go around. Chris there, just giving him a pat on the back to make him feel a little bit better. I can't believe that Nissan now back up into 1st place. Tom McPherson thought it was over. Back up to 1st now with Renault in 2nd place, 3 seconds behind. No, Renault just went off in the background, I saw it. He came out of Ascari and went to the left. We might get a replay. You can see the time coming down now. He just
oh yes, yes he does.
Up into 2nd place.
And the Toyota's got a penalty, so the Renault should retake 2nd place here. The Toyota has a penalty. Jimmy, what's going on? Is this tyre wear?
Definitely tyre wear. We're coming into the last couple of minutes of the race now. We have Toyota still have to serve that penalty to slow down on the straight somewhere. Renault is still in contention. Mercedes down in 4th place. So strange to see that. But I did see, hopefully we'll get a replay. We might not do. I saw the Renault coming out of Ascari, just going over to the left and just narrowly missing the wall, but lost a lot of time in the process. That sort of gives the win to the Nissan. If he doesn't do a Blajan, I guess, if he doesn't make a mistake, an easy mistake in T1, that goes to serve the penalty soon though, which is going to be in trouble at the end of the race.
Oh Jimmy, you said the race was over. It's far, far from over. We still have just over 2 minutes to go. At that point in time, I've got to say I fully agree with you, but I don't even think that Nissan is safe. Just take it easy has got to be the message going to the driver in the Nissan, which is Tom McPherson. take it easy, don't spin. That would be the aim here. The Toyota has to serve the penalty by the end of this lap. So that of the second should swap hands. The Renault should go into second place here. And the Mercedes, well, I don't think Patrick Blazan has time to get back into third place.
I don't think he does at this point, of course, and we have Toyota still needs to serve the penalty, still full throttle though coming up to Ascari. Not much left on this race at the moment. I think we might get one more lap after this, depending on when the leader crosses the line. Oh, Toyota gets it loose on the curb. Don't touch the curb is what the driver said to me yesterday, and Toyota is all over them. And now that Renault insisted that dot in the distance there, that is the Nissan. That's the gap between the first three cars. So will the Toyota or Renault be able to pull them in? They aren't working together right now, so we'll have to wait and see.
We've got a good battle going on for fifth. The Audi and the McLaren. In the Audi, we have Kevin Fishley. Is this a change for second, Jimmy?
Toyota looks like it actually had a pit stop penalty, so there it is. Toyota, I think in that case, Toyota was doing the right thing by staying out as long as possible, preserving it. Mercedes now has been gifted back third place. Maybe not correctly in this stage, but there is Toyota back out. Nissan though romping away at the front. Where will the Toyota come out? Audi and McLaren there behind. Audi up the inside of the McLaren, the Parabolica. That McLaren has just gone backwards, unfortunately, to start the race. Goes very wide, tries to get a better run, runs into the artificial grass, doesn't quite get it loose now. Now attacks. Look at the straight line speed of the McLaren.
Huge difference. Huge difference, and the McLaren's gone past. That's just typical Monza Tolo, isn't it?
Definitely. At this point, here it is. Well, they're coming into T1. Will the Audi have a look? Had a little look just to show his nose, to try and distract the driver and get him looking in the mirrors and not hit.
Wow, that's close.
A little bit skittish out there. So the time just running down to 0 now. So we should be. We're on the final lap now. There is the confirmation on your screen. This has looking like it's going to win it, but it's still all going between McLaren and Audi. So England versus Great Britain versus Germany. So we're just eyeing up our German colleagues right now. And there it is. Look, the McLaren pulling away from the Germans. What can we say?
Well, the McLaren is pulling away once again, and the Germans, unfortunately, look like the Audi is going to just lose out here for fifth place. So
Blazan is going to be absolutely kicking himself after this race. Absolutely kicking himself. But here's Nissan.
Well, the Nissan, it's been a hectic race to say the least, but out of the last corner, Tom McPherson is going to lead the Nissan car to victory. What a race, what a victory. Tom McPherson taking the win. Smile from ear to ear, and he gets his just cause. A round of applause from the crowd here in the Ring Boulevard. Second place to the Renault, and third place somehow to the Mercedes. Fourth place is the Toyota, and finishing in fifth place just about the McLaren. The Audi will be in sixth place, the Ferrari in seventh, the Porsche will be in eighth place, the Subaru in ninth, BMW will be 10th. To sum up that race, Jimmy, would take us all evening, but what can we say about that one?
I have never seen such close racing in a sim race like that, with that much respect. We had a couple of incidents coming together, but for the most part these guys were clean, they were fast, and it was just fantastic to watch.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. We will hand now over to our host, Matza, to sum up.
Here we are, back again, the Gran Turismo Manufacturers Cup. The result of this race determines the grid of the upcoming race. So, and this is the winning team actually, the Nissan team, was that right? Yeah. The Nissan team, nice to have you here guys, how do you feel?
It's great, just pushing for the final race and hopefully you win that.
Yeah, okay, Tim, you are the leading racer actually of this team, so what's your impression of the race? Lucky you, but you all of you guys, well done. What was your personal impression of the race?
That was a good race.
Actually, yes, ending up in first place must have been a good race. Congrats, big applause for those guys. Thank you for being here racing for us. Awesome. Team Nissan. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a few minutes with the second race. And yesterday, we already had the semi-finals of Nations Cup. These are the highlights.
So good. The car's optimum is here, but I operated here to get on power early to get a good exit. My general driving style is very aggressive. But see, if you never spin, you're not trying right. It's almost endless what you're able to do with this thing. Really, really cool.
Everybody, please let me welcome you to the first Gran Turismo World Tour event 2018 right here at the Nürburgring.
So everyone, now we're going to look at some of the highlights from the Nations Cup semi-final yesterday. So this was Pierre Lenoir leading the way in the first place. We had Duval in second place, Mangano in third. That was an early attempt from Mangano, and that's where it went wrong. Just tell us a little bit about the cars, Jimmy.
Yeah, the X2014 Junior here, very fast in the corners, not so fast in the straight, so Citroën was paramount, so a lot of that overtaking is going to see Garnier and Mangano having a nice fight here. Of course, we saw some fantastic fights all through the evening. We had 3 of these races to go through, you're going to see all of them right now.
Yep, so to give you a reminder of how it worked, the top 3 of each race went through, as did the fastest qualifier overall. So really, you have to be inside the top 3 positions to go through, and at this point, everything looked very, very good for Pierre Lenoir with a 1.1 second lead. But that lead wouldn't last for long. His fellow Frenchman, Garnier, and indeed Duval both caught up, and that was Garnier going all the way around the outside at T1.
Yeah, a bit of a French Cup this first race, as we said, and only Mangano behind actually had any chance of splitting any of them. But this one hotted up a little bit more towards the end.
And there was when we were almost 3 wide. We're on board with Mangano at the moment, and there was a little bit of contact out front for Lenoir and Garnier. Down towards the chicane we went for the last time, and it was Garnier, Duval and Mangano in that order, and that was where Garnier picked up a penalty. Duval went to the inside. We almost went 3 wide with Mangano there as well, and it was set to be a drag race, a way out of the last corner. Deval would have taken first, Mangano just about second, and going across the line, Scoot robbed Garnier of third place and a place in the top three. Lenoir picked up a penalty a little bit earlier in the race, and that is why he lost his lead and indeed a space inside the top three. So that was how the first race finished with
How was the race from your
Mangano.
point of view? It was super exciting from us as like the audience.
Yeah, it was incredible. 8 laps of battle. I start with Pierre in front. I think we made the race together, but behind they have a good speed, so they come back to us, and we have a fight with 4, 5. So it was really close. And there is 2, 3 times I thought that I will lose the rear and lose the race, but I keep on the road, and I'm really happy for the next round. It's incredible. Thank you.
So that was race one, and we thought, how could we top that, Jimmy? But we almost did in the second two.
This one, of course, first one being the French Cup. This was very much the British Cup, with Ferreira having a poor start at the beginning of the race. Williams taking an early opportunity to move up into the lead, a commanding lead, and one he wants to protect for the entirety of the race. Which had Nikolai having a great start, going from 6th to 4th position at the start there. This one very clean to get away. These guys a lot less willing to have a fight, just wanting to get into the river straight away. Of course, these cars they promote that sort of driving. That was Rodriguez there on board, someone who will definitely come into play later on. And here is Rodriguez, which we're watching on board now, of him coming up to the back of Nikolai. And just having Nikolai, I think, went a little bit wide here. Got a little bit sideways, just grabbed the curb on the exit, which allowed Rodriguez, the Spaniard, to move up into 4th position.
Went past the driver from Luxembourg, and of course no pit stops. So that is why there was a start of the race. Williams wouldn't be comfortable out front though, with Ferreira closing in, and Martin Brady was also there. But Ferreira at that point hopped over the curb and picked up a penalty. He cut the curb, and then just ahead, Williams almost did the same. But as Ferreira peeled off to take the penalty, Rodriguez was up to third with Brady second.
Brady was the one to watch this race. He was very calm and very collected through the entire thing. This is the man that we had practiced up at this point, and some 0 penalties, doing a great job. And as you see, went on to then hassle his compatriot, Mr. Williams.
And this was where Rodriguez threw it all away. A space in the top three, going quickest on track, and unfortunately he would not go through after that spin. But out front, Williams with the assists of Brady both went through easy peasy, and Ferreira finished in third place. So that was the
so how
three
was
drivers
it?
who went through from that one.
Just for start was the most important bit, so I got a better start in pole, and from there I just tried to keep a smooth line and a smooth race.
In the last rounds, how's that feeling? They are behind you and like chasing you. Do you feel comfortable in that situation, or is it more like, oh damn it, don't make a mistake?
Normally you'd feel a bit of pressure, but the guy behind me is from my country, so I thought maybe he'd go a bit more easier on me than if it was someone else.
So Kevin Rishley clearly seemed to have looked exactly like our winner Ed Williams in that one. But this was then race 3 of 3, and Blazan was going on pole.
Yes, again, Blazan, we saw him in the last race, this now manufacturer having a few issues with Mercedes, although he was very quick in here, but actually came under attack very early on from Kaiser, who went up the inside to take the place away, and then he was followed by the German brigade, with Mr. Bratic in there as well. So you can see that Kaiser and Blazan pulled away a little bit from the pack. Kaiser going a bit wide there, which gave Blazan an opportunity to have a look back at him. Now apparently these guys aren't the biggest fans of each other, so it was really interesting to find that out after their race.
Yeah, Blazan there following Kaiser. Wouldn't have been happy with that given the information we were just given, and further back the two Germans were going at it, Bushman versus Rishley, for what would be one of the last places in this one. Of course 6 drivers had already gone through, but Blazan had taken overall pole by this point, meaning he went through, so the top 3 drivers excluding Blazan would go through essentially as he went into the lead. So at this moment in time, going through in this race would be Blazan, Kaiser, Rishley and Bushman.
Just a very quick question in chat to answer. These are from 3 different heats. They were not really sorted for anything regarding driver rating. They all just went in at random, and here you're seeing again Blazan and Kaiser, 2 of the fastest guys in the 3rd race. You see Kaiser, very interesting expressions he drives, very intense, focused expression compared to Blazan. It looks like he's driving to church.
there. Well, he forgot to wear his gloves. That's how nervous he was, Keisler. Blashan there took the lead back once again as originally Bushman closed in. There was no need for these four to fight. As we said, they all had a space to go through into the final, which will take part tomorrow, but they decided to put a show on for us anyway, as Richley, in front of his home crowd, went up the inside of Blashan, who would almost fight back at the next corner, and in the process nearly took out his good friend Keisler. This was now lap number 5 of 8, and it was Richley at this point sending the German commentators wild as he almost went into the lead.
Yeah, these guys were squabbling the entire race, and the thing is they determined to put a show on for us and take home the kudos of winning the race here. And at the end it was Kaiser who came across the line only just from Blashan there for a 1-2 finish in the finish, and Hungarians there with Bushman third and Richley fourth, all those guys in the top 4 moving forward into the final.
That was Richley despite picking up a penalty at the last chicane, and let's hear
So how
what
was
the winner
the race
had
for
to
you?
say.
It was tough. It was really tough. I got fast in the first corner, and then switched places. Hungarian guy. And then it was just they were just trying to get me basically.
Did you feel like secure because the Hungarian guy already set the pole, the fastest lap, so he is already in, and you were, even if you were 4th, you would have made it to the finals?
I was just trying my own race, trying not to think anything.
You did that pretty well. Congratulations and applause for Kimmo Keisler. Thank you. Hey, welcome back everybody. Those were the highlights of the semi-finals of the Nations Cup yesterday. The final of the Nations Cup is going to be tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Before we start into the final race of today, let me mention one more thing. Team Toyota has been set back 2 positions in the grid because of not respecting a penalty in the race. And before we start the race, actually, let's have a look at the 24 hours Nürburgring circuit right now.
So thank you, Natsa. Here's the circuit we're going to be driving next, Jimmy. I think you may have done a few laps around here. I did one earlier. So this is a very, very difficult track. Just talk us through it a little.
Now the Nordschleife, the green hell, somewhere that I've done many laps around. Of course, both in simulators, also in Gran Turismo Sport, one of the most challenging versions, or the most challenging tracks in the world. Many memorable corners. You're just seeing a bird's eye view of the track now. Really does not do it justice. Look at that elevation change, 300 meters. And believe me, when you're here seeing it in person, you can see the elevation change. Not quite as clear on the broadcast, of course, but we'll let you know where it is. It's coming down to the blue patch there, highlighted corner. Recently actually smoothed a little bit. You're just seeing our AMG pace car go through there. Now see the car getting a little bit off, a little bit up in the air. That makes the corner very challenging, followed by the immediate, very fast right-hand corner. Now the carousel, probably the most famous corner on the circuit. Very important for lap time. You've got to just try and hook the wheels in there just at the bottom and let the road just pull you around. If you go too fast in this and you're launched up the carousel early, you can end up actually losing a lot of time and maybe even going into the wall. Now the Dr. Jehovah, which I'm sure the German commentators are going to completely crucify my pronunciation of it. Here it is, very long straight, more than 2 kilometers long, as our graphic says there. Bit of a chance for you to chill out, talk to your team, or maybe just reset yourself and speed up to and including 200 to 300 kilometers an hour on these cars, extremely fast down the straight and across the line, and you go and do it all again.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, Jimmy Broadbent. Let's now go back down to our race. We'll take a look at some more details of the race. So we are going to have 5 minutes of practice. So then we'll go into the 60-minute race. So Jimmy, just looking at stuff, they're going to be the hard tyre estimated 2 pit stops. They have to do a minimum of 10 minutes per driver, I believe, and they can do 3 pit stops if they want to. But what are you expecting from this race? What's the most common strategy going to be?
I mean, we always say with sim racing that Nordschleife is just about surviving, really. It's a very difficult circuit, and track knowledge is key here. Now, fortunately, a lot of the drivers have had the opportunity to practice, to learn the circuit. I mean, we're looking at a circuit which is, I think, over 22, 23 kilometres long. If memory serves, that number might be a bit off, but a lot longer than a conventional racetrack. And for those who maybe aren't too good with distances, me included in that, of course, that's an average lap time. These guys are doing about 8 minutes 30 down there on this new tyre model. The average track is about 90 seconds, so 8 minutes 30, 90 seconds, it's just about getting around in one piece.
It is indeed. There you can see the track now, and practice is getting underway. Now they have been practicing, they have been informed exactly what the correct way is to do a handover between the two drivers. How hard do you think, of course, tell us a little bit about the rigs. For the viewers, they won't be able to have a good sight of what the rigs look like that the team's using, but we both had a go in them. Just tell us a little bit about them.
Okay, so you might have spied it during some of the host sessions there. We do have 10 rigs here lined up. We're about to be moving to the race. We'll just finish that point very quickly. We have 10 rigs here lined up, all using the TGT plus Master TGT wheel. A very nice, a very firm wheel with very decent force feedback. Also, a lot of buttons on there, a lot of modifications that we haven't even spoken about. We haven't spoken about things like brake bias changes, traction control changes. With plenty of time for that coming through the race, of course. And now, as you're seeing, Toyota just getting it's practicing. A car that now has a 2-place grid penalty for not respecting this penalty in the last race. So round here, that's not really going to make a big difference, to be honest.
No, but we both had to go in those rigs. Were you impressed by them? You do a lot of reviews and stuff.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it was very easy to jump in, and even with Gran Turismo Sport, a game that I don't play that much with the wheel at the moment, I was able to jump in and then be, in a 5 laps, be a couple of seconds off these guys. And one, that's a testament to how good the rig is, and two, a testament to how good the drivers are. Because I raced a lot, and those guys were wiping the floor with me.
Yeah, I've got to say, I did 1 lap of the Nordschleife in the lounge area upstairs, where we have a couple of rigs where the drivers have been practicing as much as they can. And I'll tell you what, it's so difficult. The drivers set the car up to be exactly as they are going to be driving it in this race. But more on that later, as I believe that will be practice finished, and we will now build up to the final. So it looks like we're going to be going straight into the final then. Here you can see the grid on screen for you. And on pole position is going to be the Nissan after what was a very hectic race. The Renault is in second place. On row 3 we have the Mercedes and we have the McLaren. On row 4 then we have the Audi. This is of course going to be, on row 3 sorry, we have the Audi and the Toyota with its 2-place penalty. It's going to be a rolling start, of course. The Ferrari is going to be next along on the inside of row 4 with to the outside Porsche. And on row number 5 then at the back of the field we have the Subaru, and rounding out the 10-car field the BMW. Jimmy, your thoughts ahead of what's going to be I'm sure, a very entertaining outing.
Now, of course, we have an hour to get the racing done here today, but that won't mean anything to these guys. These are all natural-born racers, and they're going to be going down onto, coming around now just to start their lap off. So they peel to the left. We are running the endurance out here. The Nissan's going to have the advantage going down to T1, but it is a very sharp hairpin to start. And race starting, Nissan off, followed by Renault, Mercedes, McLaren, Audi and 5th, Toyota 6, Ferrari 7, Porsche 8 and Subaru 9th with BMW at the back of the field. Here we are, T1.
Renault defending down towards turn 1. It was a good start there from the Nissan, but the Renault under pressure from the Mercedes, who of course had that spin to cost their pole position for this race. This is the only race for the Manufacturers' Cup in terms of who will finish where overall. The last race is a qualifier race. This now decides who wins the Manufacturers' Cup. So all or nothing then as we head down towards the Dunlop hairpin for the first time. Understandably, drivers just keeping themselves all together at the moment. No risks being taken, and the Nissan doing a good job out front. But one move being seen.
The Ferrari there just going past Audi in the background there to take it to 5th position to get to the back of this back to McLaren. Meanwhile, we're on board with Mercedes, Renault and Nissan in front of him at the moment, so nice and relaxed first sector. But now this is GP circuit. We're about to move on, not too far away, onto the Nordschleife proper, as a good friend of mine would call it, and that's where we're going to see driver knowledge and driver ability really come into play.
So in terms of laps, they're only going to get a few each, really. They're not going to get a ton of laps around the Nordschleife, so this is going to be crucial. They can't exactly learn the track as they go on, so they need to know exactly where they're going. Oh no, the Mercedes has gone far too late on the brakes, and it's gone straight into the back of the Renault. Oh, are we going to see a penalty going the way of the Mercedes there, do you think, Jimmy?
It may be possible, of course. We do have live stewards here, the real live stewards as well.
From MSV.
From MSV, yes. So they're going to be taking a look at that, and we'll get a decision on that very shortly. But right now, we're coming around to Hasselback. Mercedes! Mercedes goes wide!
Oh, the Mercedes was fully sideways.
How?
Well, how on earth has the Mercedes gathered that one up? Fully sideways as we have just started the Nordschleife there. That's Patrick Blazan in the car as well, the Hungarian. Jimmy, what happened there?
In the replay there, he just got a bit too wide on the entry. The car, there's no grip on the grass. You turn in the car, spun round, he masterfully gathered it up again, but look at the time he's lost to the guys in front.
I've got to say though, he stayed in the race as a result of that, but the McLaren and the Ferrari almost had nowhere else to go. The driver in the McLaren there, which just looking down the field, is Vincenzo Mangano. What a fantastic job he did to stay out of the way of the Mercedes.
Definitely. There was actually an incident involving the Audi and Subaru being investigated. We see the Mercedes and Renault one not being looked at. We won't get into that too much right now. We'll come back to with updates. Coming now to this long right hand. You want to try and get the car right to the inside of the curb here. Then you said it very lazy drift out. Don't touch that curb on the exit too much though. And now down the hill, down towards the boxhole. Audi's got a penalty already, pit stop penalty. I didn't see what the Audi did back there. Hopefully we'll get a replay of it at some point. But back to this now. Through the compression, car hits the ground hard. Up the hill. Throw it to the inside, throw it to that curb. Don't touch it too much. Like yesterday, if you touch that curb, you go wide when you crash. Now slow it all down, be nice and tidy through this section. Very important for lap time, and very important to get this right hander right, because it comes right up into a fast section.
You know what the fantastic thing about what we're doing here, right now, is the crowd that have gathered really get to see what the Nordschleife is like. Don't get me wrong, walking down the circuit you get to see bits and pieces of it, but we put all the pieces of the jigsaw together here at the GT Sports Stand, and we are showing them exactly what it's like to drive the Nordschleife.
Yeah, you're getting a proper on-board view now. Of course, a lot of these cars taking part in the race starting tomorrow, so all the cars are here and there. So we're looking at just the AMG now being harried by the McLaren, coming up to miss hit miss now, as we named yesterday, miss miss miss. Now coming into the slowest point of the circuit, a hairpin heavy on the brakes. McLaren gets it wrong.
Oh no, the McLaren's off, and it's gone straight into the Mercedes. The McLaren spins round. What a disaster there. The McLaren taking far too much speed. In the car is Vincenzo Mangano. And Jimmy, talk us through the replay.
It's so easy to do that. He just took too much speed, brakes too late, and the thing is the road just falls away from you, so went onto the grass, boxing on the grass, he was a passenger, and away he goes into the Mercedes. So, actually an incident underway now between the Ferrari and the McLaren. I'm not quite sure why the Ferrari was involved there, we didn't touch him. But we'll let the stewards decide that. They have a better view than we do. Renault, of course, now still in second position with Mercedes in third. But McLaren, again, making that mistake early on. Luckily, it's a long race, but that's not how you want your race to start.
Oh, what a disaster. You have to feel sorry for them. And there's a pit stop penalty for the Ferrari. What did the Ferrari do in all of that?
Maybe the Ferrari hit the Mercedes in the rear. We didn't quite get a good camera angle to see that, but that's going to be terrifying for the Ferrari, because that means they're going to come into the pits and just be far behind. That's not all of it. Although you could say on an upside, they won't have to deal with everybody else, but they're going side by side with the fast left. That's not some of Ferrari. Almost gets up the grass, sideways on the exit there. Now from the right hand, this is blind. You have to take it as fast as possible. I've never seen people go too wide there before. Wow.
This is why everyone loves the Nordschleife. This is proper Nordschleife racing. Not enough room for two cars to go wide, but somehow the drivers figure it out, and Sometimes they get round in one piece, sometimes they don't. Here we go onto the carousel then, and the BMW, and oh, we got another one.
McLaren again, when we were speaking about it in the track just before we started, McLaren got spat out of the carousel and lost a lot of time. Bad to worse for McLaren, but now watching the Porsche, who were relatively quiet in the last race, to be honest. We didn't see much of them. But up into 6th place right now, we can road the 5th once the Ferrari fits in now. This last section, this is the best bit of circuit in the world. I love this section. It's all about, it's very technical, all about managing speed. What he's got to over the crest, take it now to the outside. Don't go too far to the outside here though, because the track canvas back in. Over to the left, this curve on the right, don't touch it. Touch that, you're going to lose that. Don't touch it. They're taking over it. That's what his guys. Yeah, that's what his guys are racing.
That's where your 2 seconds is, mate.
We call this one YouTube call. That's where the famous crashes happen. But now slow again over the crest, over the rise. It's really difficult to get the power here because the face is getting a little bit skewed with coming over there. And there it is. So easy. It's happened again.
He's gone round, and not for the first time today. Oh dear. Oh, and another incident. It's gone round again. The Porsche goes straight into the back of it. The Mercedes is down to nearly, well, it's almost last place. Jimmy, I don't believe it. What's gone wrong?
Let's have a look at it again now. We were saying how hard it is to get the power here. I think he just touched the curb. Yes, he did. Sent it into the rule to the right, and then tries to come back onto the circuit. Hits the throttle again out of, I imagine, frustration. No, there he goes. Oh, it's the Ferrari and the Porsche. He sits on the racing line. What was he doing?
I just don't think he had time to get out of the way. I don't think he had time to get out of the way. I've got to defend Plaza. Sorry, it's Juros Rasic there in the car. I've got to defend Juros as oh, what have we got going on here then? We've got a strong battle for 4th place. So Juros Rasic is in the car, not Patrick Plaza. Plaza will be out last and will be having a lot of work to do now.
Yes, we'll leave him to it, I think. I don't think we'll tell us how much work he has to do now. But now, here we are, Dr. Hoa, slipstream battle. You saw that at Toyota. Here it is again, McLaren. Nothing he can do against the Porsche in a straight line, sorry, the Toyota in a straight line. But once the Toyota comes back, of course, doing well after his grid penalty, now it is at the head of the train. Now it is providing sympathy to the rest of the other cars. Meanwhile, front of the BMW and Renault going side by side, coming up now to the last part of the course. Very brave for the BMW. See the car squirming under brakes, going over the elevation, gets it slowed down. What a fantastic pass there for the BMW. But still going on behind Toyota. Now having a look at the McLaren. Not quite close enough for Porsche to get involved as well. But you have 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place all within contention. We're going to see the Ferrari now peel off. Even 9th in the background there. Mercedes coming back through. Wow, I'm running out of breath here, Chris.
Yeah, we've got 51 minutes of it left. Philippe Nicolai is in the BMW, in the Toyota. At the moment we have Matteo Paolini, but the Italian is going to lose a place to the driver in the Porsche. In the Porsche we have Bruno Ferreira, oh, who almost goes down. Well, if it weren't for the Subaru, I think that is, then I think we would have seen a spin there.
I think so too. I mean, that's a very difficult section to come through. 2 sharp hairpins for penalty. The Ferrari choosing to save his penalty for the next lap. I wouldn't have done that. I would come in now. We wouldn't be in this traffic. We wouldn't be dealing with it. The Ferrari now with a great exit though, coming out the full curve. Still goes down for Dunlop. Pulls to the inside. Can it get past Dojo on the inside? Oh, nearly contact. The last thing that Ferrari wants is another penalty there. Touches the Toyota. That is surely going to be another penalty for the Ferrari. I don't know what's going on in that driver's head right now.
It's Benjamin Badeur in the car, and unfortunately there could be another penalty being added. As here we go, the BMW and the Renault are side by side. Philippe Nicolai and Lewis Bentley. Well, Lewis Bentley, what a fantastic run he's having. He's not had the best of confidence so far this weekend as they now head down towards the chicane.
Yeah, hearing Lewis talk about his last race, I think he made up 6 positions for his stint. He was buzzing. I saw him, he was shaking when he came to that start after the race. So now, I think looking to cement that performance. Somebody went out of the Nations Cup very early, so looking to really prove himself here in the manufacturer series. BMW really sideways, and here it is between Toyota and Porsche being investigated. That's a good bit of track.
Well, we've been keeping the stewards very busy. If they hadn't done sim racing before, they thought they were going to have an easy weekend of it. They were very wrong. But Lewis Bentley, we're on board with him at the moment. Ahead of us is Philippe Nicolai, and Lewis Bentley is going to just probably, knowing Lewis, having spoken to him throughout the week, I think he'll just stick behind the BMW now, unless there's a real clear opportunity down the long straight to make a pass.
Well, we'll see, because Lewis was very happy with his pace in the Nordschleife, and the last thing you want around here is someone in front of you is lacking about 5 or 6 seconds of that slow. You just sit there frustrated, frankly. But now coming down the long run down to the end of the first sector, you see that the Renault is just deep in the slipstream of the BMW coming over the crest. Now this little left hand is very difficult. It's not quite flat on these tyres, not quite flat, and heavy braking downhill. Again, try and nibble that inside curve a little bit, just a tiny bit, don't let it push around, but the BMW sideways off the corner there, and now the Renault again right up behind. This is where I was taken out in a recent race. Don't really overtake down here, and these pros have shown you don't do that. Coming down to the progression again, that's when the car hits the floor hard. Wow, hit the curb, BMW hit the curb. Oh, is it going to keep around? It just about gets it stopped. Hitting the curb from there is a very bad idea, let me tell you that.
Well, in the BMW we have Philippe Nicolet, as we said, 21 years old, started with GT2. So he's been doing it for a while. Of course, the BMW got some car racing experience. The BMW is actually his favourite car, so not surprised to see him going so well. He said the weight goes good on the car, but you have to be careful. On the throttle as the Ferrari is off. Well, the Ferrari had a penalty anyway. Jimmy, what did you make of this one then as they come round the left-hander? I think they're going to go, just turn away from it, back to Philippe Nicolet. His advice to everyone, race clean and observe real races. I want to give a shout out to his mates Leon, Luca and Maxi, who are racing here this weekend in the classics, who we were watching earlier. Also in that battle, he said we had Lewis Bentley, Lewis 20 years old, no real life racing experience, so for him, he said, seeing this GT Sport game, this competition has given him a chance to live out, something that he's always wanted to do. And his advice to anyone at home looking to get in this position, practice as much as you can.
Now returning to the race, Mercedes moving up again after its interesting first lap, shall we say. But Subaru isn't quite that happy of that. Nice run now coming up towards Bergwerk, Toyota and Porsche in front as well. We are going to see the car spread out as this race goes on. It's a long race, it's an hour race, and we're seeing we had the race organiser come up to us earlier and say 3 laps is possible on a set of tyres, but that has you have to be saving the entire time. Most drivers now only be able to manage 2. That's going to be a big difference in this race, I think.
Mercedes is in the wars once again. It's got the Subaru side by side, the Ferrari carrying yet another penalty. Is out of the Mercedes, is off again. Mercedes is off and is down to 8th place. Well, once again,
I think something that I want to actually put up there is the Kai 25 in our YouTube chat and said a lot of these guys are not on their standard equipment. In fact, a couple of people in this race came in and they came and qualified with gamepad, with controllers.
Nicholas Arndt being one of them, yes.
And they're still here and they're still performing very well with equipment that is not their own. So please take that into consideration when watching this. This is why these guys are the best to do it.
Yeah. Like you said, when they first arrived, the first thing they have to do is get used to the equipment. After that, in the process, they've had to make sure, get used to the atmosphere of the event, and also practice with matching the cars to the tracks that they're on, which they probably would have done at some point playing the game as much as they do anyway. But racing at this level is just a little bit different on stage. But of hundreds of people who are here to remember the 24-hour here in the Ring Boulevard. And on board now we go with the Mercedes once again. Juros Krasic is out in the Mercedes at the moment.
See that Ferrari still yet to serve its penalty. The reminder that it does have to serve the penalty at the end of this lap. If you are assigned a penalty by the stewards, you must serve it by the end of the next lap, so it'll be in this lap. Meanwhile, Porsche and Subaru it's up to the right hand. Just that Porsche getting loose now. Those tyres are going to start wearing at this point. And the last thing you want in the Nordschleife, worn tyres.
Yeah, I've got to say, going back to Juros Krasic, something interesting about him. He did the Nordschleife back in 2007. He's done this for real. Now he's racing it in the Grand Turismo World Tour. He started back in 2008, the 35-year-old from Slovenia. Says this a once-a-lifetime opportunity for him, and he wants to give a shout-out to his IRT teammates. But we must return to the racing, because it is very close at the moment, Jimmy, between the Porsche and the Subaru.
Look how close these guys are. The Subaru just giving the Porsche enough room to pull away, putting a lot of pressure on this guy at the moment, coming round now to the second carousel. Look at that great camera view there, seeing the exhaust on the right-hand side of the Subaru.
Oh.
The Porsche gets it a bit wrong coming out of second carousel. That allows Subaru just to slip through, but really he doesn't want to be there. We're coming on to the Dr. Hoa now. If you're in front here, you're going to be the victim of slipstream. Watch this now. Porsche's going to just close into the back of that Subaru and ultimately just drive past him in a straight line, because he doesn't have to push all the air out of the way, and it's going down the straight. Here we go then. Great view there at the bottom of that Porsche.
That was Ed Williams making the move, and in the Porsche we have Bruno Ferreira. So two very good drivers who went well in the Nations Cup yesterday, going wheel to wheel, and Ferreira has gotten back in front then as they head down the long straight. Williams looks to be trying to go back to the inside in that Subaru. So two changes of position in one straight. Ed Williams, the 19-year-old, has just got back then into fourth place. Started racing, the sim racing in 2014, as we now see some pit stops.
So here we are, first of the pit stops happening. Porsche coming in. Of course, we have 42 minutes to go in this race. It's an hour race in total, so we're probably going to be seeing a driver swap now for the Porsche. I think, let's have a look at my little schedule here. It will be Michael Katteke now getting into the car, the German driver. So out he goes now, nice and slick pit stop for them, followed out by Toyota. McLaren though opting to stay out.
Yeah, they have indeed. Why would you say they have done that?
Possibly trying to save that extra lap at the end, of course. With there being 3 driver swaps, it's unlikely that one of the stints has to be 3 laps, I think, at this point. They're saying 7 laps is about what they expect when we were talking to the drivers earlier. So we'll just have to wait and see if that McLaren's going to start. But bear in mind, though, it's not going to be a worn tyre, so it's going to be a very slow lap for McLaren compared to the guys behind. Will they get the undercut? Ferrari gets another 1 second pit stop penalty. Now, what's that all about?
Yeah. Well, what a shame for the Ferrari team. I believe out at the moment is Kamil Karski, or Karski is preparing to go out next, but that a real shame. A lot of teams now have come into the pits, but staying out we have 3, the Nissan, the BMW and the Subaru. So 3 teams yet to come in. As thanks to everyone who's tuning in. We've almost got 2,000 people tuning in as we see a change for Renault. But thanks for your company wherever you're watching from. You are joining us from the Nürburgring 24-hour race for the Gran Turismo World Tour. We are in the Ring Boulevard. If you're going to be joining us at the circuit tomorrow, do come and visit us and have a go on the rigs yourself. If you're not going to be here, then you can tune in once again tomorrow for the Nations Cup final. But Jimmy, I think we have some questions coming in. If you have any questions for Jimmy, just send them in the comments and we'll read those out for you.
We have one interesting question that I did want to answer, and I think it's quite important. So someone was questioning why the guys at gamepads were not allowed to use gamepads, and that isn't the case. They both declined. They both wanted to use wheels and do the same with everybody else. So they had the opportunity, but said no. So that's that question answered for you guys.
So, well, we are on board with the Renault at the moment. Renault have indeed done their pit stop, so they've now handed over to Tarek Bushman. Tarek Bushman now in the car for them. The German driver facing down the driver now in the Porsche. So the Porsche have also handed over to their second driver, which is Michael Kassekert. As we are already approaching the half-race distance. This one is absolutely flown by.
It has. Oh, time flies and you have fun. Look in the background there. See the sparks being kicked up by a Toyota, and it's trying to chase down these guys behind. And
here we go.
inside, not quite close enough. Porsche covers him off there. gets a better exit. Renault right up on the curbs there. Trying to eat those curbs for breakfast. I wouldn't be doing that on the exit, to be honest. The car gets very loose, but the Renault driver does a very good job of handling it. Meanwhile, just looking at my up screen, this time is romping away with just 10 seconds over the BMW now.
Yeah, I've got to say, I think Lewis Hamilton kind of summed it up perfectly. Just how realistic the game is and how much it pays attention to detail. And we were chatting with the Italian commentators last night about using the VR headset when playing GT Sport, and just how realistic and how mesmerising it is.
Yeah, I mean, of course, bear in mind now, look at this game. Can you imagine, look how beautiful this game is. I mean,
yeah.
Objectively, this is a good looking game. And seeing this happen, then seeing all the dust particles, the effects, and what I'm going on about the game, Porsche gets it wrong.
Yeah,
down to the right hand, it's a very difficult downhill right. Renault took the opportunity to get past it in his wide, but look at the Porsche now, all over the back of the gearbox of the Renault as we come through the fast left, right, now through miss, hit, miss. Will we see a similar mistake? Look at the Renault just charging away now. Look at that pace from that Renault.
Brilliant stuff from the Renault. Tarek Bushman now in the car as we are approaching half race distance. The Ferrari, guess what, has a penalty. I know it's no surprise given what's been going on in this race for that team. They've just not had the luck or that, or they've just not been at the races in this one. Some brilliant performances throughout the first race, but in this one it's just not gone right for the Ferrari. The Porsche, another little mistake for them. The Audi there just struggling. As another screen we have access to, you may not be able to see that one, but the Audi is unfortunately just struggling with coming out of the corners, it seems, at the moment. But Jimmy, I think you have another question.
Yeah, another question in chat there. This one from Eagle Arms 7N Big. It's a very nice username you have there, Eagle. That question was, are those Logitech wheels being used? No, these are the Thrustmaster TGT wheels and pedal sets. And myself and Chris got to have a go on them the other day. They're very nice to use, and the force feedback in the wheel is a very good for sort of that style of wheel. Lots of buttons on there as well, plenty to choose from.
I was tired after one lap of the Nordschleife.
This guy isn't used to it, is he? He has to build up his arms. He'll have to let you have to teach you the ropes, I think.
I know. It was obviously used to doing kart driving in the past. It was, it is very, very physically demanding when you've got everything set, and if you make as many mistakes as I did around the Nordschleife, then you are pretty tired by the end of it. So I think I wouldn't say I sympathise with these guys. I just appreciate how good they are, as the comments have been suggesting as well. There's the McLaren we are looking at now. In the car there is Jost de Haas. We've been speaking to Jost quite a lot over the weekend. Very, very nice guy, Jost. He's loving this experience, isn't he? He's one of the drivers that hasn't stopped smiling all weekend.
A very chatty driver, and when we first sat down next to him after one of these sessions, immediately started talking about the race, how much he's enjoying it. We almost didn't have to ask him any questions. He told us everything pretty much as it was. We're just looking at the Porsche now. Where's the Renault gone? The Porsche makes a mistake. Let's put that Renault is 12 seconds up the road. Surely that's not. Sorry, 16, 17 seconds up the road. Is that pace?
No, he's 2 seconds back now.
Oh no, sorry, apologies. I'm looking at the gap with McLaren. I was like, hello, that's a bit much, but
it would have been, yeah.
But the Renault is still pulling away, so a good job. Just on your screen there, graphic at the top right, we're seeing they're using 3 times fuel usage and 3 times tyre wear. So Ferrari makes a move on the Toyota to 7th place, yet to serve its penalty and second penalty in this tournament. The Ferrari's race has one to forget already. We're halfway through. I don't see them coming back from this.
Just enjoyed the last half an hour, I think it's fair to say. Of course, in the Ferrari team, we have Kamil Karski. The Polish driver is out on track at the moment. Quite an interesting character is Kamil Karski. He does a lot of drifting. He is obsessed with drifting, and he does it in real life.
Yeah, that makes me laugh. Like, we came up to the hospitality suite after we were racing here, and he was drifting an AMG GT3 car around the Nürburgring GP circuit. I had to take a double take of that, but that's pretty decent. I want to just very quickly answer one more question if you don't mind, Chris.
Of course.
We had a question from GT Series Videos asking how were the drivers chosen this event. Now the drivers are basically invited, but the invitations are based on their driver rating. So essentially we have the best drivers racing in Europe here.
However, a maximum of 5 from each country.
Yes. So we had a couple of races where there was maximum of 5 Brits, because of course we're always a top half for Brits, aren't we? Although I'll leave that closer to now. So another pit stop coming in. This is the Nissan, our leader, coming in now, so taking his first stop. Interestingly enough, that Nissan almost went half the race without having to pit. So that'll be another driver getting in now. Second driver,
That's Marcus Conlon.
for Marcus Conlon, another quick spin, although I'm not quite sure it's just a spin that isn't quick in a racing car. So he leads out from the pits now. So even after the pit stop, of course, the Subaru behind McLaren, still McLaren in for their second stop. I think they're apologies, they did of course. Renault into the gaps you see on the screen are the gaps they are on track with the pit stop done. BMW 9 seconds back to Nissan. Renault has closed the gap to only 2 seconds now. So Renault coming back into contention again.
Yes, the Renault is indeed, and good info on the question. Thanks for sending these questions. They are really useful for not just, of course, yourself to get answers, but for the rest of the viewers as well. So if there's anything you have any questions about, send them in. Jimmy Broadbent will answer them for you. We've got a replay coming up now, which is the Renault. Oh, well, was that an off for the BMW almost? It was. It was the BMW running very, very wide, slowing up out the corner. So that's a change for second place now.
And we were saying earlier on how difficult those two little hairpins are. I think the BMW just got a little bit loose, and as a result, Paddy Pro didn't then come off the corner. Now we have the Renault up in second place. Subaru and McLaren together on circuit as well. Subaru going back up the order. McLaren slow on the exit. Dunlop now on the curb. Now coming up the Schumacher rest. Probably wisely not going side by side up here. Now this is very difficult. That curve on the inside. We saw a couple of people in practice yesterday hitting that curve on the left of Schumacher rest and spinning into the inside wall. So you have to be careful with the curves in this game.
Do indeed. So there is the Subaru. Change for second, as we said. The Renault now into second place. Out in the Renault at the moment is Tarek Kushner. So down towards the gate we go. The McLaren ahead of us, of course. Mr. Haas and Martin Brady, the second two drivers who come out after the first driver, which was Francesco Mangano, the Italian. Going back to, we were talking a bit about Camille Carter, the Polish driver. He's only been racing on GT Sport for half a year. Doing drifting, he's done it for about 4.5 years. So, very, very impressive skill when it comes to that. The 22-year-old from Poland has been returned back to the race, and we will almost be calling it the halfway point in this racing, can't we already? As it's still close here between the McLaren and the Subaru. It's very interesting to see the race going through its different phases now. A race is almost like a film sometimes, and how it plays out. We have a very, very hectic start, then we have a phase in the middle which everything gets sorts itself out, and then at the end sometimes a lot of drama, and of course a happy ending to the film for the eventual winner of the race.
Well, it's actually a term for that. Like, equilibrium is probably hard to say, or French commentator, practice commentating, I guess. That moment we saw with the calm pace, take that calm Subaru going off to the place where he would not want to go. 50th corner there, very fast, just got it onto the outside. Luckily able to gather it up. This is our closest fight on track. But just behind these guys, look, the Mercedes is going back into contention after that awful start. Looking to try and make up some time now.
Now the Mercedes has only stopped the once, which means Sander Dirksen is in the car, but Patrick Blazan is going to be preparing himself somewhere. When do they put Blazan in that car?
I think they put him in the final step.
Unclearly, they do. But how soon?
Well, okay, well, if I were that team now, I'd put him in. Oh, hello, sorry, just a little bit of a distraction now. I thought the Subaru was going to run them down the circuit. Well, that's how close they were.
It wouldn't be a surprise given the race we've had, but Blazan's going to want the maximum amount of time in that car now as he possibly can, given what's happened at the start of the race.
Whether he'll be able to compose himself after the last race. So Mercedes looks to the outside, no space there, Mr. Mercedes comes back onto the circuit, just about avoids contact with Subaru. That's the last thing that Mercedes needs. It's just been in the wars this race. It needs to calm down, try and get past these guys without incident, and then get on with it. Every time I've seen this car try and overtake, there's been contact. Speaking of which, Subaru wide.
Yeah, Subaru wide. Mercedes gets closer once again as we head through the left Right, and here we go, and the Mercedes is going to go for a move, and unsurprisingly contact. Jimmy, arms in the air, what was he thinking? I think was the expression there.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of this race. Disappointing to see, of course. I think nerves is coming in now. If you're in that Mercedes camp, you're aware you're running in 6th position, you're aware half the race is a lap, and you'll know when you're going to start.
I was going to tell you, I was going to say though, they've only got about 3 laps per drive, I would say, right? This is a Nordschleifer. There's not many. Oh, and the McLaren. Oh, in contact. Well, the McLaren and the Subaru going wheel to wheel there. The Subaru back to the lead, and the Mercedes is off once again. Well, is the Mercedes going to make this place? Replay coming up, I believe. Oh, they're still side by side. And there was another option I think you spotted there. We'll come back to it as the Mercedes now going past the Subaru.
Yeah, we did, and that's
the Renault.
Yeah, look at the distance, that's Renault, that's what we saw, and I was thinking the Renault spun, it was in 2nd position, it's now lost into the BMW, and it's now in this pack of cars, so we've got 3 cars together now, even though the Subaru's slightly at the back, this is going to hot up for 3rd place here.
Yep, for the last space of the podium, you'd have to say at this moment in time, the Nissan and the BMW look same as the Mercedes is making me very nervous once again. McLaren getting closer to the Renault. Oh, well, this is going to be a very, very interesting end to this race as we approach the 2nd round of stops. Now, it says the McLaren has actually done 2 stops. That was one of them was a penalty, so they've actually only done 1 stop, really.
I mean, I think that's some sort of Mercedes race there. It's scuffs on the side of that car. It's really being very forceful. It's not going to look at the inside of the carousel, is it? No, it doesn't. Probably one of the most clever decisions he's made this race. Now up behind McLaren, nice and close. You can't really do much for the carousel other than follow the guy in front. Now this last half of the course, this last third of the course, sorry, isn't really for overtaking unless you're a lot faster than the guy in front. But that isn't stopping this AMG. We're up the back onto the grass again to try and overtake. I don't know what there's going to be a big crash very soon for that AMG.
It's just all going to go wrong, isn't it? Sandor Dirksen is getting very, very impatient here. Oh, and gets nerved up the back there. Well, the Subaru has gone right into the back of the Mercedes. Did the right thing by backing off and letting the Mercedes keep in place.
Yeah, flash the lights there, I think able to apologise to the Mercedes. Let's have another look at that. Mercedes. I think that's on the Subaru, I think.
Yeah, I just don't know what the Subaru was thinking there. Out of the Subaru. At the moment, we have Manuel Rodriguez, of course, a very, very feisty driver, Rodriguez, but I'm not too sure exactly what Rodriguez was looking for there. The move was never going to be on, and it's just, and there we go.
Well, now that will be interesting. I sort of hope we don't see a penalty here for the Subaru, given that one can slow down, and 2 the Mercedes have been putting moves like that the entire race, and yet to receive a penalty. However, there you go there, that's just the stop. Subaru spun round as well.
Big incident here. Once again, the Subaru and the Mercedes are round. The Subaru is pretty much out, is tumbling down the order. Let's have a look at the replay. They go through the left. Let's see, is it a mistake on the Mercedes' part, or is it the Subaru as well? Oh, well, Mercedes made a mistake and the Subaru's just followed him in.
Yeah, pretty much the bit of target fixation there for the Subaru, just looking at the guy in front, following his line, and then just followed him off the circuit. And unfortunately, he lost out big time because he spun. Mercedes somehow recovered, but now the fight for third is down to only 2 cars. The Renault, who was in 2nd place, and the McLaren, the battle-scarred McLaren, of course. Oh wow, those tyres are already worn. Down the straight now, right into the grass, but into the 60, it won't matter being that slow now. Let's see what sort of problem this Renault has. Can it keep McLaren at bay down this long, 2 kilometre long straight? No, it can't. McLaren considering pulls to the outside. That very memorable engine note there from the McLaren that now pulls the Renault down the straight. And we're coming into now a very difficult section. There is time to overtake down here. I wouldn't recommend it. We think they'll have the BMW do it on the Renault, a couple of laps to go. Let's see if they stay line and stern round in very well. Look at the car move around there into the braking zone.
Well, Sandor Dirksen is out in that Mercedes, and Sanders actually raced here at the Nordschleifer 8 years in a row. For the last 8 years in his Honda Civic Type R, as into the pits comes the BMW. The BMW now making their 2nd and final stop, which will put into the car Anthony Duval, the Frenchman who won his semi-final yesterday.
That feels like it's a little early for me. We feel like, yeah, we'll make it to the end of that. not sure they're planning to do a third stop or not, but we'll have to wait and see. DWM.
Patrick Blazan going to want to get out now on that Mercedes.
Yeah, if Jagal's in the car, then Blazan is well. Let's see if he pits. He is pitting. So Mercedes.
There we go. There we go. We were expecting that move to come very shortly. And Patrick Blazan, the Hungarian, is about to jump into the Mercedes to try and salvage a podium for what has been a race that you would not have been able to predict. There's the, well, we can see the Nissan on one of our screens, and the Nissan, I can tell you, is still very comfortable in a comfortable lead at the moment. As you can see, most teams have now done their second stop. They're on board at the moment with the Porsche and the Toyota as well. The Nissan out front by 25 seconds at the moment, yet to take that second stop, Jimmy. We now head up through the left-right-hander, and very shortly we'll be on to the North side once again.
Look how close these guys are now. These are guys who were not together in the pit stops. Now we have different drivers, a fresh set of eyes, fresh set of legs back into the car, as you say, a fresh set of legs, shall I say. But now the Toyota all over the back of the Porsche. This is really an overtaking spot for the GT there, or for an endurance there, which is very fast. How to get another 1 second penalty shot around the outside. Wow, what a move round the outside of the Porsche, like it was standing still.
Another penalty for the Audi. Sorry to say that's not for the first time this race.
So we have Lenoir now in the car for the Toyota. So that's been a he was one of the fastest qualifiers, second fastest qualifier from yesterday. So we expect to see some pace from him. Just before we get into that, I want to answer one more question from Tony Sandwood, who asked, is anything else different to the live version of the game other than the tyre model? I mean, aside from these camera views you're seeing now, I believe not. I wouldn't be the best person to clarify that, but I can confirm that the tyre model is different. Whether that's coming to the game soon, I am unsure. Yeah, running a different tyre model, of course, exactly going to be a big game, but otherwise the game is what you guys have at home.
Perfect stuff, thank you very much, Jimmy. Keep your questions coming in. We still have over 20 minutes to go, so we can take much more questions. Send any in you have, and we'll have Jimmy Broadbent answer them. Thanks for tuning in. Deborah, myself, Chris McCarthy, Jimmy Broadbent, pleasure to be covering the first Gran Turismo World Tour event of 2018 here from the Nürburgring 24-hour. Make sure you tune in tomorrow as well, so we will have the sorry, I was getting a little bit distracted because the McLaren's had a spin. Oh, the McLaren in second place got a hard spin, and the Toyota's got into him. And now, going into third place, is the Porsche. The Porsche into third place.
Wow, that was brave down there. I said earlier, it's not really an overtaking spot. The Porsche team are very keen to prove me wrong now, coming up the hill. Watch the curve, and if I see how the car is unsettled there, Porsche goes in a bit hot, but Toyota is still there. Lenoir would not be happy with that. In fact, you see a bit of a shake of the head there. But McLaren now leading this pair. This is the second place here. So for 2 places to go, the Nissan, by the way, has just checked out. Half a minute on the rest of the field.
Yet to take the second stop.
Not yet, no. Very good point. Yet to take the second stop. So if these guys can keep going, McLaren, Toyota coming in, I don't think we'll see anything out of that because McLaren came back onto the circuit. Didn't really give Toyota anywhere to go. But again, I'm not a steward.
There we go. We are the commentators. We are those for a reason. The McLaren, by the way, is Martin Brady. In the Porsche at the moment we have Fabian Gaillard, and in the Toyota we have, of course, Pierre Lenoir, as Jimmy was touching on there. So Brady and Lenoir, of course, done very well yesterday. Oh, and we've got a pit stop penalty for the Mercedes. Race over for the Mercedes if it was in already, and a mistake from the Porsche there as well.
I'm unsure what that penalty was for. It might have been for, and McLaren gets a penalty for the rejoin, I think that was.
Oh, I don't believe it. Well, big drama here at the Gran Turismo World Tour in second place in the Manufacturers' Cup final. The McLaren has just received a pit stop penalty. Jimmy, how much time will they lose from that?
Well, bear in mind that you're hitting in a non-scheduled pit stop going down the straight here.
That's a bit one more time.
bit harsh. I don't know. I mean, McLaren, we've had a bad lead during a regular race, and there was no penalty for that. So a lot of consistency that infamous series there. However, I think maybe that was his flaw, and the McLaren, which would be in a good position, maybe to have a look at the Nissan when it comes back out of the pit. Now, unfortunately, it's not. But now, so it's going to be three Toyota, Porsche, and the Nissan. Really, realistically, as 20 minutes ago, there'll be three cars with potential for the win of this race. And of course, the manufacturer.
That said, I say it's a bit harsh. At the drivers' briefing at the very beginning of the weekend, they did say we were going to be strict, very, very strict on driver standards, racing, incidents. Well, they did say that they're not guiding the drivers. We listened into that meeting as well. And they were very clear. They're going to be very, very strict. It's going to be much more strict than usual. Be wary of that. Race clean and race fair. Enjoy it. Unfortunately, the incidents that there have been have caused the Swiss to put in one or two penalties.
But the McLaren, that's defensively doing sideways. More contact with the Toyota there. That allows the Porsche to come back into the fray. And McLaren just about hold that together. Porsche comes in, taps Toyota.
Well, the Toyota's in the barrier. Well, the Toyota got away with absolute murder there. How did they keep going?
I don't know. I mean, that all started with McLaren there, just hogging the middle of the road up and making a mistake. Porsche and Toyota had nowhere really to go, came together, and now more contact. McLaren with a bit of breathing room now. Of course, losing place and comes into the pit stop. But this is continuing to be an absolutely fantastic, dramatic race to watch.
This was far from what I expected. I expected a race that would quickly settle down and would be just about strategy. It's been far from that. It's been about the racing. It's been about who can stay out of trouble. It's been about who can make their moves, but also make their moves completely, fairly, and without losing too much time. Under investigation, the Toyota and the Porsche. Well, the BMW could be picking up a podium if Toyota and Porsche aren't. If he will then get a penalty, the McLaren already has a penalty. If one of them gets a penalty, third place can be going the way of the BMW.
This race is far from over. We're just over 17 minutes to go. McLaren will likely be in this lap, or maybe just like a little short. Nissan, I think, will come in this lap and hand off to that last driver, which is Tom Pearson, of course, who took the car to the victory at Monza. A safe pair of hands, I think, there in Tom. But he's got a big gap. We see how much of a gap he has after they pit in. And on the straight here, looks like Toyota even trying to cross, or just stopping the throttle there. Maybe saving a little bit of fuel. Of course, these guys do have control over fuel map, I believe, points, so there is a little bit of strategy there. McLaren then after the Porsche on the straight, got a big deal on the straight line. Will the McLaren come back in the braking zone? No, I think the side's better of it, no penalty. Nissan in the pit, so right, here we are, Porsche, this should be it now. No more stop for Porsche coming in now for the last stop. You know what, great, covered, isn't it?
Yeah, Pearson is going to jump into Nissan, and are they going to come out in the lead?
I think so at this point, but the guys behind them coming at the same time. BMW has grabbed Martin there, so we're just getting them all coming now, watching the same graphic you guys are, so we can have an idea of where they are. BMW is up in second place though at this point. Interesting enough, the fastest lap belongs to the Renault, with
There's a lot of pit stops there.
So this time out first, now that has come to the end now.
Yeah, Tom Pearson in the car to the end of the race. Let's just wait a second until we settle down a bit. We need to just... Oh, we're coming out the pit lane.
It's, yeah, I mean, a lot of theories, hey, let's do that. But guys, as well, questions to you in chat. I mean, I'm here as a sim racer and as a racing enthusiast. This is some of the best racing I've seen in a long time. Maybe I'm biased, I'm commentating on it. I'm really enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are too. If you are enjoying the stream, make sure to hit the old like button on there.
Yes.
It's great to get to 1,000 likes by the end. It's nearly 2,000 of you guys here, so thank you all for joining us. Let us know if you're enjoying this event. Let Gran Turismo know if you want to see more, and maybe we'll get more.
Yeah, let us know where you're watching from as well. It'd be great to hear. No, we've got viewers coming in from worldwide, but let us know exactly where you're watching from. Of course, we are here in Germany in the Nürburgring. Local time at the moment is just coming up to 5:30, so that's the time where we are. Let us know exactly where you are. Right, is the Nissan being caught by the BMW?
It does seem that way. I think now that everyone has completed their stops, I mean, of course, we've got a lot of penalties, so it's kind of hard to keep up with penalties on our graphic, unfortunately. But the BMW, if our graphic is to be believed, bear in mind that gap was quite a bit bigger for Nissan pitted. The BMW is now only 6 seconds off top of Pearson in that Nissan GTR.
Well, let's just have a quick breather and a quick run through. Oh, what's happened? Oh no, we're not going to have time because the Toyota going for fifth place. Oh, what a move that was. I think that's one of the best moves we've seen this race. The Toyota going into fifth place, Jimmy. That a fantastic move. They got it absolutely spot on there. Pierre Lenoir, no surprise in the car, pulls that one off perfectly.
Look at him, absolutely muscling his way past. Have another look at it then. So the Porsche goes to the inside of the circuit and pulls over to the right. Then Margo, if I'm going to have that, mate, goes up the inside, right on the curb as well. I can't really tell you guys, it's hard to see. You touch that curb, the car becomes very unsteady, but Lenoir, nope, throttle through.
That was fantastic racing. Yeah, Lenoir, take my hat off to you. I did it yesterday, I do it again. What a fantastic move. Of course, he had the devastation of not making it through to the Nations Cup final. Well, we're gonna have something to remember him by, even if it's just that move alone. So let's now try and have a run through of the positions. The Nissan, Jimmy, leads by 5 seconds.
Gap coming down.
The gap coming down. The Renault is in third place, 8 seconds either side of them. In fourth place we have the Mercedes with Glazan in the car trying to close down the Renault, and in the Renault at the moment we have Loris Garnier. Then it's the Toyota who's being hassled by the Porsche, the McLaren, the Subaru, and at the back of the field